read people and to read the atmosphere around you. That I walk inside of a room and I'm immediately aware of the situation, the circumstance, how I'm supposed to deal with the situation, how do I react to a person trying to provoke me, how do I try to respond to someone trying to criticize me. A person's ability not to only read words but to read emotions and personalities is a very beautiful trait. And the Prophet ﷺ may not have been able to read or write as a mu'jiza for the Qur'an, but he definitely was able to read the circumstance around him better than anybody in his time or anybody till this day. And if you study his interactions with the various Sahaba, with the various delegations, you will find this beautiful quality where he doesn't use one blanket for everyone, he doesn't use one brush to stroke everyone. Rather, he deals with people with very different approaches depending on the person. And at times, somebody may study the life of the Prophet ﷺ and wonder, wait, is this being inconsistent? That at one time he's using a very harsh approach, in another instance he's using a lenient approach. Sometimes he will say one thing to one Sahabi and a different thing to another Sahabi. Does that show inconsistency? Na'udhu billah, not at all. Rather, the various approaches that he ﷺ adopts in dealing with the Sahaba differs not because he changes his approach, no. It changes because he deals with the Sahaba differently. That perhaps some Sahaba, their temperament is a bit more stringent, a bit more firm, so he deals with them a bit more firm. Some Sahaba, their temperament is more lenient, so he deals with them more leniently. Because if he were to treat everyone harsh, then some Sahaba would not be able to bear it and they wouldn't stay in his company. On the flip side, if he were to treat everyone very lenient, some Sahaba would not understand that language and they wouldn't appreciate what he was saying, so he was perfectly balanced. And that is emotional intelligence, that you're able to read the people around you and act accordingly. And if we're not emotionally intelligent, at times we will say something thinking that what we're doing is right, whereas in reality what we're doing is not right. To give two quick examples, sometimes a person who comes newly into the faith, we assume that we need to take a very lenient approach, or we assume we need to take a very harsh approach, not understanding the person, him or herself. At times, the person wants to know, listen, give me the truth, I want to know how it is, please don't sugarcoat it, I just want to know what I need to do. But in our understanding, we estimate that, no, I need to tell it in this way. And no, if the person wants to know how it is, it's our responsibility to convey the message unadulterated. Other people are still in that process, are in that journey, and they can't fathom and grasp everything, so we need to take a very gradual approach. And that was unique about the Prophet ﷺ. And inshallah, in the remaining days, we're going to go through some examples in his life where you will look at this situation, somebody comes to him ﷺ, and he takes a somewhat harsh approach. And somebody would read it and say, wait, I thought he was rahmatan lil alameen, I thought he was kafatan lil nas. He's supposed to be merciful. Why is he taking a harsh approach? The ulama explain he takes a harsh approach not because he himself is harsh, na'udhu billah. He's the most soft and kindest of human beings. But he would treat that person the way and the language that person understood. For instance, sometimes the Bedouin, the people who live in the village area, who live a very rough and very tough lifestyle, they would come to the main city of Medina and they would speak in a particular language, and he ﷺ would reciprocate and respond in that same language. But now if a delegation came of elite people, he would never speak that same way because that's not the language that they speak. So to have emotional intelligence and to be able to speak the language of your audience, and to be able to read the emotions, the personalities, the feelings of the people around you is perhaps the most valuable trait anybody can adopt. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to not only read words, but read emotions as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to adopt the prophetic emotional intelligence. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us aware of the feelings of others and allow us to take that into consideration. Subhanallah wa bihamdih, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk, jazakumullahu khairan, wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.